I am going to be talking a wee bit about extended psychic protection and the upcoming eclipses. There's a lot of dense energy at the moment. I don't know if you felt it. There's a lot of solar flares and geomagnetic energy happening at the moment, basically, which, you know, the sun's sending out radiation, and that comes through the planet's atmosphere and causes radio blackouts. But if you're especially sensitive, you might notice feeling achy, feeling tired, feeling emotional. If you have any health issues, they might be playing up at the moment. Don't stress about it. It's actually kind of a positive thing, because it's a sign that whatever energy is stuck in your body is clearing. Kind of like an energetic upgrade, although I hate that term. Drink a lot of water. Like, if you think about it, if you're feeling really emotional, like, I don't know if you've ever done like Reiki or had like therapy sessions, they should have told you to drink tons of water afterwards. And the reason for that is that obviously, like, on a chemical level, when you're processing a lot of emotion, your body is also processing chemicals. So to help your body flush those out, you drink tons of water. So I always recommend drinking tons of water. Don't drink tap water, for fuck's sake. Get spring water or buy filtered water if you can. If you have to, obviously just filter your tap water, but like, try not to drink tap water. So yeah, we're about to enter an eclipse portal. Kind of like staring upwards as if I've got like notes in the sky. Yeah, we're entering an eclipse portal. So between March 25th is a full moon, and then on April the 8th is the new moon. Full moon is in Virgo, the sun is in Pisces. Don't come for me. The sun is in Pisces. I use the sky. I use the actual stars. I don't follow Western astrology. Look at the sky. The sun is in Pisces. The moon will be in Virgo. I understand people have their own connections to like what they think their star sign is in Western astrology, but quite frankly, if you're going to be trying to align with nature, maybe align with nature rather than like an outdated algorithm that was written 2,000 years ago that doesn't align with nature. Eclipses have more of a significant impact on the next 6 months than regular full and new moons have. And if you've dabbled with any kind of like mysticism, you'll know that full and new moons are significant because they represent the passage of time, and they represent specific alignments within the planets. You know, it's either the moon is next to the sun or it's directly opposite the sun. And so with eclipses, they're like extra aligned, right? So when you've got a new moon and it's an eclipse, the moon is so well aligned that it actually goes in front of the sun. So yeah, there's a lot dense energy, powerful energy. There's also a lot of people around the world observing religious practices like Ramadan and Lent, where you're fasting, and that, you know, what that's doing on a spiritual and energetic level is like cleansing the collective energy of the planet. So thanks, guys. That's great. And it also really ties into this Virgo aspect of purification and the Pisces aspect of spirituality. But yeah, so eclipses are like supercharged full and new moons. What you usually do for full and new moons is to be really mindful, be really intentional, like meditate, journal. People usually use it to release the past and call in the future, but you do that by being in the present. Basically, like if you only had one day, if you only assigned one day per every 2 weeks to be like especially like mindful and living in the present, it's best to do that on a full or a new moon. So it goes without saying that what you think about and what you speak about and what you do matters, and especially so on a full and a new moon, and especially so on an eclipse. It can help to think about it as like a temporal doorway that has the ability to like read and interpret your energy and then give you more of that over the coming months. Yeah. So if you were with me like a year ago, you might have seen that I posted a rant about the English royal family choosing to do the king's coronation on the day of an eclipse, and how I think that that was a very conscious and calculated choice. Don't be fooled by the rhetoric that astrology is just for people that are superstitious or teenage girls that are into psychology. I think there's a reason that it's really been drummed into us that it's just foolishness, that is why we should pay attention to it, especially when these kind of things happen. If you think about it, what was the coronation? It was a huge public ceremony, a ritual that millions of people tuned into and observed. They gave their attention and their energy and their power to it. And however many thousand people pledged their allegiance and like swore an oath on the king. It's a huge public ritual. Like, that is a collective spell. And it's not the only example. Obviously, what is happening in Palestine at the moment was somehow given the collective green light after the October 7 attacks, which was a week before the eclipses last year. They were on the 14th and the 28th and 29th of October. I said from the beginning I wouldn't be surprised if the intelligence knew about it beforehand and either chose to ignore it or kind of agreed to it, or more likely that it was fully orchestrated by American and Israeli intelligence to be on that specific date or around that specific date. I know this sounds super conspiracy, but like, hear me out. So suspend your disbelief for a moment. If your environment affects you, if our environment affects us, which it does, if the solar system is part of our environment, which it is, and if, which many traditions, including alchemy, ceremonial magic, you know, the occult sciences believe, if specific astrological alignments correlate to changes in collective energy, which again is what all of the guys in the past that are said to have known about things have said or subscribed to that belief, then isn't it likely that at least in some part of our governments, our intelligence, the people in power, including the royals, you know, isn't it likely that they probably know about that stuff? Like, do you not think that a lot of, you know, intelligence agencies are obsessed with hidden knowledge? And that's what occult means. It just means hidden. I don't believe that I don't believe that this is a conspiracy on some level that like everyone in government knows about it and they're all lying to you. No, I don't think that's the case at all. I think very few people know about this kind of thing. But I do think that there are individuals that are heavily involved in like organizing world events that are super aware of this stuff, and things are meticulously timed. So watch out. And another little tidbit is that Hitler and the Nazis were incredibly interested in the occult sciences, and guess where all of the Nazi scientists ended up after the Second World War? They went to America. So anyway, the reason that I bring this up is that, you know, obviously the world is on fire, and internal mirrors the external, external mirrors the internal. Like, we're in a mess. And eclipses, times like these are times that, you know, we might be subject to more psychic attack, which doesn't, you know, that can kind of encompass all manner of things. So this is a time to, again, be intentional, be mindful, be vigilant, be aware of mass deception, and then at the same time think about the world that you want to move towards. I fully believe that we can make tremendous positive change in the world, but there are a few crucial parts to this. I personally believe that change is not just going to be seen on the physical level. Like, we, as a collective, we've lived in the material world so long, we've completely abandoned the spiritual, the psychic, the energetic. I think this revolution will take place due to a strengthening of the spiritual, the energetic, the psychic, whatever you want to call it. I think that's where we start. I think that's where we've been got. I think we've been like heavily bombarded by psychic attacks, like on a daily basis, living in the modern world. And I can talk more about that in a later video. It's not just unfounded. I do a lot of research on this kind of stuff. Anyway, and so for the most part, that starts with banishing negative energy and protecting your energy from any incoming bad vibes. And two, we need to stop being ignorant and apathetic as to what's going on. You know, there's this really awful rhetoric that I hear that's like, oh, well, you know, like, nothing you do is going to make a difference, and this is just how it is, and this is how it's always been. And it's like, no, always according to who? Come on, have an imagination. This is not how it has to be. And you can do your part simply by imagining what you want the world to look like. We don't make the world a better place by preaching spirituality and then just sitting idly by as we let our governments pillage the rest of the world. Like, it's fine that we've all got luxuries like clean water and homes to live in while half the planet is being exploited. No, this has to change, and this is part of it. Like, people keep talking about, you know, the Great Awakening, this prophecy that so many cultures have talked about. It's this mass collective shift of awareness. It's the people being aware of this, and the thing about it is that once you're aware of it, you can't go back to pretending it doesn't exist anymore. You know, there's a lot of collective wounding and collective trauma and all this kind of stuff, and it can be healed, but it has to be tended to. Like, you don't just, like, if you have a wound on your leg, you don't just ignore it and think it's going to go away. If it's infected, you've got to sort it out. You know, same thing. You have to believe that you can make a difference, and you have to strive to find what kind of difference it is that you can make. And it might be different. It is different for everyone. Like, I'm not saying everyone needs to be activists. Like, maybe you just boycott companies that support weapons manufacturing and genocide, as a nice place to start. And yeah, there are going to be lots of people who are not interested in this and don't want to hear anything about it and don't strive to understand, and that is fine. Don't let that apathy seep into you. It's a matter of collective mass. If enough people start doing this stuff, then it makes a difference. So yeah, over the next few weeks, in general, but, you know, specifically over the next few weeks, I encourage you to, as well as being mindful and intentional with your thoughts and with your actions, I encourage you to think about the Virgo Pisces axes of themes. So Virgo is the sign of service, of purification and healing. So how can you be of service to yourself? How can you be of service to the people that you love? How can you be of service to the collective? What can you do to aid in your own healing and purification? What can you do to aid in the healing and purification of others? And then Pisces, which is really all about, like, the connecting to your internal landscapes, reflecting on spirituality, paying attention to your dreams, as always, but, you know, especially at the moment, taking time for stillness, introspection, but also being aware of illusions and delusions. So be mindful and try not to get got by any collective spells. My action and intention concerning these themes is that I am going to be teaching what I know about magic, which is why I started with protection. You always start with protection. And I'm just trying to make it, you know, accessible for people, because, again, it's the occult, it's been hidden. The whole point is that this information hasn't been accessible for thousands of years, and that's kind of why we're in this mess. So if you find any of this helpful, please tell people, share it with people that you love. Let me know if you have any questions about stuff, and I can cover those in videos. I do also do like one-on-one readings and sessions and stuff, so you can message me if you're interested in any of that. But yeah, stay safe out there.